Welcome to Beyond Flow. My name is Tammy and this is Maria. We're
Hi.
your hosts. And we are here today with an episode on a subject that I don't think any of us know that much about, but I think we are all figuring it out, and that is love. The power of love. So Marianne Williamson wrote a book called Return to Love, and we've read this book many times and talked about it a lot. And I was just looking at something that she said. She spoke about love, and she says that when infants aren't held, they can become sick, even die. It's universally accepted that children need love, but at what age are people supposed to stop needing it? We never do. So I thought, wow, that makes a lot of sense. We are all trying to figure out what we're doing here in relationship to each other, and parent-child, romance, self-love,
Soulmates.
soulmates.
That's a big, I guess, subject that people want to connect to, and what does it really mean?
And it's like, what is that? How do we do that? And I think that love is the most powerful energy there is.
Probably the most, the only one.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that we have come into this world over and over as human beings to understand love, because it's such a deep concept, and it's such a cosmic and spiritual concept that as we relate to each other, we're navigating things in oftentimes very confused way, and it often becomes very painful. You know, loving and trying to be loved. I think the being loved is something that is such a search.
I think that one of the concepts for me, and of course we're never going to be experts, like you said, about love, but there's two things. One is, first, I heard this concept and I really connected with it, which is, what is love? And love is when you give someone the power to hurt you and they don't use it, because the person gets to know your weak parts, the vulnerable parts of you. And when we open our hearts to someone and we give that opportunity, and the person doesn't use it, then that is love.
Wow.
And that's something that we do constantly, when we first meet someone.
You're exposing yourself,
right?
It's like there's a blank canvas, and now you're filling it up with all the aspects of yourself as you're sharing this with someone new,
right? And how do you do that? Well, that comes with, then I go into the subject of, or when we talk about soulmates, that soulmates aren't, it's not something that it takes first to know thyself. Mm-hmm. To bring your soulmate in, you have to know thyself, and that takes self-awareness. That takes the wanting to go within and to know who you are, so that you can attract that person, that soul. And that sometimes it's not even that you're not attracting. It's just that person is getting ready to be ready
mm-hmm.
to be ready for you as well.
That's so true. The same time that you're working on yourself, and being like, you want to attract this match,
right?
That same match person is doing the same to find you.
We just get impatient. And we just get maybe at times we don't feel that we're worthy enough.
We don't trust.
And then I think we live in a time where everything now, it's so, you sweep left or you sweep right. And then, it's almost like we discard that there's another human being on the other side. yeah, I think that that's one of the things that I wanted to say, because it matters, and I think everybody wants to find that.
Yeah, and I think in trying to connect with romantic love, partnership and that kind of thing, oftentimes I think we fall short because of the lack of the self-love concept. We made a candle about self-love, but self-love is so much more than taking yourself to the spa or giving yourself a manicure, and those things are all lovely, and that is caring for yourself, and those are all important. But I think on a deeper level, it's about realizing that your purpose isn't just to please other people. Self-love is taking the time to go within, but going within only happens in silence. It only happens in solitude. And I think self-love is giving yourself the opportunity to say it's okay to retreat, and honor yourself, and in that, you're sort of opening up the gates to get to know yourself, because we spend so much time being what everyone else wants us to be, or what we think we need to be, and that role of pleasing, it gets out of hand, and people forget who they really are. They forget what they like to do, that they like to sit and read sometimes, or they want to have 20 minutes to go in the back and garden, or whatever it is. It's different for everyone, but life gets so hectic and so much gets put on shoulders that we don't even remember who we are,
right? We it's like we take for granted even, our purpose in this lifetime anyway is not just to find a soulmate. It's beyond that. It's just not the only thing that is going to define you. And I think most of our lives we spend, because it's like we want the approval of somebody else. We want someone to find us attractive, or we want someone to, but then we forget that the soulmate connection, there has to be, in order to be a soulmate connection, there has to be spirituality. The spiritual aspect has to be part of it, part of the relationship.
Yeah, something that's aligned.
Correct.
Right.
That it's not just, I'm attracted to you. We're gonna have a family, and you're gonna throw the garbage for me, and that's not what we are craving. Is to be seen. What we are craving is to for someone to make space for us, and that is something that comes from self-awareness.
And I think that self-awareness allows you to become genuine,
right?
And I think that when you're genuine with who you really are, and you're open to other people's experiences and what makes them tick and things like that, but when you really know and you're genuine, you present a genuine you, and you attract somebody that resonates on the same vibration, that is genuinely attracted energetically to you,
right?
And that's something that I think with all the people pleasing and the confusion of who we really are, we don't present a genuine self. And so we get into relationships that are based on unauthenticity, right? That's sometimes why they don't work out.
Because if you think about it, it's when someone says, like, do you believe in God, right? Like I think God and love, it's something that it's not something outside of you. It's something you experience. You have to experience that love. Yeah. And that love starts within. That is why I tell myself, and I tell anyone that is going through a process of wanting to find love, or not even find it, just attract it, or to be, it's always, I always tell people, just in the mornings, do a prayer to be at the right time, at the right place. Because we aren't just, and I know that I think I say it in every podcast, we're not just this physical body.
Right.
This is gonna be, even what we say today, if we don't give it too much energy, we know that one day this is just a dream.
Right.
So our purpose is not to find a partner. Our purpose here is to find God.
Yeah. And that's, Yogananda talks about the divine romance, the cosmic connection and cosmic love. This is really our, what we're searching for. I think that humanity is experiencing things on a physical level, touch, scent, emotions, appearance, all the physical aspects of being human are a way to connect together, and a way to feel love. We can feel the energy of love in flowers, in animals, in relationships, but in a teacher, we in a parent, that we feel all of that, but because we're human beings and we're physical, so we need to connect on a physical level. But what we're really trying to do is find God. That's why the divine romance, it is an unconditional love, like you said, someone who can know your faults and not hold them against you, not use them against you. This is a world of faults. We are imperfect on purpose, by design. This is an imperfect world because that's how we learn. That's how we grow, is by making mistakes and learning from it and elevating certain aspects of ourselves. And that search for that divine love is a really finding our own divinity, and, is reconnecting to our light.
And I think that one aspect that I think it's important to maybe to talk about it, and know that we're not experts on anything. We're just I think we're human beings, and we are talking from our own experience, from our own process in the evolution as well, because we don't have all the answers. But I think that when we understand also that there has to be a responsibility, the emotional responsibility that we have the moment we meet someone, and to understand that karma is not a punishment. Karma is balance. There has to be
a rebalancing.
It's to balance things. And which it led me to talk a little bit also about what a lot of people have experienced, especially when they come to the store and friends, and they go, this person ghosts me, this person, so the ghosting, it's something that when I think of someone ghosting somebody else or someone, I think of karma, because now you left someone in the unknown of what happened. You created ripple effects to your soul. And this is why I think when it comes to ghosting, don't ghost people. Have the
decency,
the human dignity to talk to the person, because why create karma that it's unnecessary? Right. This is where
when something's left.
We have been given the gift of communicating, of dialogue. That's how you can, not just for you, but for the other person that in whatever shape or form open themselves to you. Don't ghost people, because that not only creates karma for you, but it's also creating pain and hurt
unnecessarily
on the other person.
So,
but I think we're living in this world where we just block people, we just unfriend people, we just unfollow people, And this is where I think we're the human aspect. We have to go again and again to the most sacred place that is our hearts.
Yeah, and I think that that is really at the heart of what's missing in the world these days. When we look around our environment and what you're seeing blasted in the news or just in social media is hatred. It is love is missing so much from every aspect
and empathy
of
love and empathy,
compassion. These are the aspects of spiritual teachings are love, compassion. All of the spiritual avatars spoke of the same things, and we're missing all of that right now. And I think that's why it's so easy to discard, because the examples that are being shown of how to behave in the world as a grown-up are pretty bad.
Yeah,
they're pretty unloving, and it's not taking humanity to a better place. It's a destructive place. And I do know that getting back to the heart is the answer. Even when we don't know what to do or what to say, when you go back to the heart and you think about the chakra system and how we have, in general, the 7 chakras, from the crown to the root, if we come back to the middle, the middle chakra is the heart chakra. This is our center, operating from our center. And I think that's where, when we are being greedy and selfish and all of these other aspects, we aren't operating from that center. So if one is suffering from not understanding how to connect to love, go back to meditation.
Go back to silence.
Go back to silence. Go back to your heart center and trust that. It's a knowing that the heart has.
What would you say to someone that comes and says, I've been doing everything, all the rituals, all the affirmations, and I still haven't found love, or what am I doing wrong that I meet someone and they walk away? And like, what do you think we can tell someone that is going through maybe not giving up on love, but almost like, this is not happening to me?
Yeah, I think it becomes in that moment or that situation, our first and foremost truth is what are we doing here? Are we here to find a relationship? That could be part of our karmic aspects. It could be part of, but I don't know if that's necessarily everyone's journey. Not that I'm saying you may go without having a relationship. What I'm saying is that going back to why we're here. What are we doing here? We're doing here to find God. I mean, without religion, because there's a million ways to reach that unconditional divinity, but that's where true love is. True love that will never abandon, that will always forgive, will always be understanding, and will always be waiting there for you with open arms, is that divinity.
And to know that we are perfect.
Yes. And so if
in the imperfection of
correct,
this three-dimensional
everything's how it needs to be. So if that's not happening in the moment, keep going back to you, keep honoring you. Maybe there's something that you haven't worked on from the past that's an aspect of forgiveness, or some sort of traumatic thing that you're not aware that's maybe blocking energy. It may or may not be, but that self-reflection, I think, is always important, and that showing love to those around you and realizing and paying attention to how you're behaving. You know, a lot of times people will want to bring someone into their life, but they're not very nice. You know, they hate their coworkers. They're mad at their families. They're disconnected. They're honking their horn at everybody. You know, and it's like, well, if you want love to come into your life, you must become love, and that's why it's not an easy subject. It's not an easy answer. It's particular for everyone, but love is something that is experienced, right?
It's something that you have to
and you have to share
that you have to share, that you have to become. It's almost like you have to become that force of love so that you can be, number one, lovable, and you can then attract that. Sometimes I find people that are very bitter and they're like, oh, I don't know why I haven't found love. And I tell them, well, there's a healing that we all have to, or we're going to then meet someone that it's bitter as well.
Right.
And that is going to reflect that bitterness that we have. And then we have to work on that. And because everyone that comes into our lives, it's a mirror to where we're at. Doesn't mean that how someone treats you is a reflection of who you are.
Right.
So how someone treats you, it's based on their own state of consciousness.
Right.
But I think that a person comes into our lives to show us the parts of us that need to be healed.
It's like where you're at, where we're at right now. It's the law of attraction. The law of attraction is effective and constant in abundance, in love, in every aspect. It is what we vibrate in, what we feel is what we draw in, and it's something we have to practice, adjusting and shifting that so that we draw in, and we're existing at a vibration we want to be.
And sometimes that assistance and that change doesn't have to come just from therapy, and of course meditation. I think it's the number one. That's something that you can't bypass. There's no but this is when you also go to the higher realms, because we all need help sometimes. Sometimes not, probably most of the times from the upper world. So to ask, one thing that I tell people is for your angel to talk to the angel of that person. Also to ask your angels, or
your own
Archangel
guides.
Samuel, that it's in charge of bringing that energy down into this physical world. Light a candle, and not only that, I think the most powerful thing you can do, and that can even be done either in meditation or right before you go to sleep or right before you get up from bed, is that you feel, and that you go into that place of feeling that person, feeling how you want to feel with that person. Not only to feel what you want that person to give you or to make you feel, but also how do you want to share with that person. Because the perfect person might come, and if we're not in that place, it might be in front of us and we won't see them.
Right.
So that's why we have to be in that space, in vibration and in consciousness, to receive that love, so to share it.
And exactly, because if there's an aspect of one's life that is more significantly in need of solidifying it, say you're a student and you're trying to get through school, or you just started a new job and you're working on that path, that you just opened a business. Sometimes a romantic relationship isn't the right thing at that moment, because there's something else that you're conspiring with the universe to manifest or to complete, so that your wholeness is more there, because your wholeness is what you want to share with the partner, not your brokenness and not your emptiness, not the missing piece. That, you know, the other person isn't the missing piece to fill the gap. They are ideally there to receive from you your wholeness, and for you to share in their wholeness, and two whole beings, you know, living life,
sharing,
you know, not filling voids.
right?
Because those voids don't come from someone else. Those voids come from our own connection to our higher self and to our soul. And that's, you know, that's really monumental.
And one thing that I also notice, like if you watch anyone that gives advice about love, right? It's very, I mean, I'm one of them that I listen and I read, and but I also realized that one thing that is always missing in that is the connection with God. That love, as much as you want a partner, and you can apply all these books and these ideas and even affirmations, and that is an important aspect, but that you can't leave God out of it, because
Right.
the essence of who we are in our core, it's love, and that love, it's an extension of that we are part of God, and that's how we share that love.
Yeah.
So
Marianne Williamson, she also, I took a note on something else that she had said in a Return to Love. She said, the spiritual journey is the relinquishment of the unlearning of fear and the acceptance of love back into our hearts. Love is the essential existential fact. It is our ultimate reality and our purpose on earth. To be consciously aware of it, to experience love in ourselves and others, is the meaning of life. You know, and so anything that we can do that connects us to that unconditional higher vibration will help our personal relationships and make us more in alignment with that true love that we're looking for.
and before we close and we end this podcast, I think it's also important to well, not the podcast, this episode, but not to give up. It doesn't matter if you're 40, if you're 50, if you're 60, if you're 70. It doesn't matter how old you are. That's one thing that we can never do, is to give up, and definitely to never give up on love, because we all deserve it. We are all worthy of it. Definitely, there's no question that to find love, you have to 100%, without a doubt, you have to go within. You have to know thyself. You have to know who you are. You have to, so that you don't settle for less, for crumbs. So you don't go, wow, that felt like, you know, God wants the filet mignon, and, you know, here I am, you know, with this cheeseburger, and that we see it as the most incredible thing, because we're not in that true knowing of who we are. And it doesn't take to be 50, 60, or 70 to know who you are. All it takes is wanting to do that.
Yeah.
And that's something that I wanted to share.
I think that's the answer. You know, I think that's exactly why we focus a lot in Flow Life on products about love, because it's all from a higher spiritual connection to those vibrations. And we use aromas, you know, we use rose in our candles, we use crystals for compassion, for
mantras.
We use mantras. We're going to talk a lot about that in another episode of how we create things here. But, you know, there's there's a way of connecting vibrationally with things that resonate with love to invoke that energy in us, and those actions are significant and helpful, and they help us with those connections, and they help us feel that vibration that is cosmic. You know?
Yes, absolutely. And like Neville Goddard, he says all the time, you know, just whatever it is that you want to manifest, feel that it's already given. Not even think. You just feel, act as it's already given to you, to the point where if you want to wear a wedding band on your finger, you know, and just, you know, let me see how it feels to be in that, to be married, to be with someone, like just out of, you know, just, if you want to feel that person, like feel the person exactly how you want to feel. And I think that's even going deeper more than the law of attraction, is the assumption that it's already yours.
I love it. Thank you.
To love.
To love.